Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today is your City Assessor Chris Leitz. He's back for round two. We kind of talked about a month ago, had a discussion of kind of what's going on as you were finalizing the data, so to speak, for the tax assessment this year. And now, as of when we're taping this today, which is Wednesday, May 15th, throw this out there. Dates are important on this. The tax assessments will be mailed out this Friday.
Yep, Friday the 17th.
And should be hitting mailboxes thereafter. So today we're going to focus on, well, making sure you know that this is coming. Open book, what's on that. But we're going to start just with what's the city's overall assessed value. Because you'll bring back some of the numbers and help us understand globally what are we looking at here in the city of Fitchburg.
Sure. So right now, as of 5/15, or May 15th, we're sitting at just under $5.5 billion. Now that doesn't include manufacturing. I may have mentioned it last time, but manufacturing values come out a little bit later. They're all handled at the state level. So just our locally assessed roll is just under $5.5 billion. For context, last year it was sitting at $4.5 billion, so that's just over, or just right around a 21% increase. And most of that is just catching up to current market trends. So.
And how many years are we talking about?
Sure. So we did.
What have you been looking back? It's a reval, right?
Yep,
so let's start with that, but backtrack a little bit on that.
Yeah. So we did prior to my arrival here in 2023, we did a revaluation for 2022. So we're really kind of catching up with 2 years of market data as opposed to just one. So if I recall, there was a similar increase back in 2022 as well, kind of around that, I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 17 to 20% or whatever it might be. But a similar jump then. And again, it's really just capturing market appreciation and increase in construction costs and that kind of thing.
So I imagine the very first question for a lot of people is going to be, why did my property go up? Which is, I know you can't answer that like, total without looking at specific property, but if somebody's looking at their assessed value and it went up 21% or whatever it is, what would you say?
So typically, most properties are going to see a change in value specifically due to sales that have occurred within their neighborhood. So when we don't go through every individual property and make data changes to all of them, but what we do a lot of is we'll review all the sales that happen in a specific neighborhood and determine, kind of from where our model sits currently for values, what do we need to adjust those specific neighborhoods by, and that's backed by sales. So if you're curious about the sales in your neighborhood, we'll have a list of the sales that we looked at online. You can look at, we have a booklet of them too that has kind of more detailed information as opposed to just the sale itself. So it's backed by data generally.
Fantastic. Would other questions that would come in would be, how can I talk to you? So I want to know how I can talk to the assessor and have them look at it because I'm concerned about the sales in there, or I'm not really sure that I understand fully what am I looking at here.
So you got a lot of options. You can call us. Any one of our staff would be happy to answer any questions you might have. We can go through it that way. You can email us. All of our contact information is available on our website. And then you can stop in. So we have it's called Open Book. We kind of, like I said, we can handle it a few different ways, whether it's over the phone or email or in person. But starting on May 22nd at 7:30 a.m., we'll be kind of here specifically for that purpose. That's our job for the kind of next few weeks here is to chat with folks. So come in, call us, whatever it might be, 7:30 to 4:30 during the business days of the week, and we can hash through it if you answer any questions you might have.
Going back to questions, I'm just running through my head like the questions I would ask if I was sitting in front of you too. Is I think another one is tied to the taxes. Like, what's this mean for my taxes that I'm going to be paying? I think it probably comes right in there right after wise it up.
Yep, that's a general concern, especially if you see a 20% increase to your assessed value. You might think, well, my tax is going to go up 20% too. The answer, generally speaking, is no. What happens is when there's three pieces or three variables to the overall tax bill. I guess there's more than that, but kind of the baseline equation for what a tax bill is you have the overall levy, that the taxes to be collected between City of Fitchburg, whatever school district you may live in, the Tech College, and then the Dane County. And then you kind of divide that by the overall assessed value of the city. And so if you raise one piece of that, so if the budgets were to all stay the same, for example, say you have this is a fictitious example, but to make the math kind of make tangible sense. If you have a city that has an overall levy of $100,000 and their overall assessed value is $1 million, you divide the two out, you get a tax rate of 0.1. Now, if you keep the budget, the top line the same at $100,000, keep the levy the same, divide that by a higher assessed value overall in the city, in this case we'll say it's $2 million as opposed to $1 million, your tax rate then drops in half, goes down to 0.05. So, when you raise the overall assessed value and keep the taxes, the same or about the same, then the tax rate itself goes down. So some may see an increase. It really just kind of comes down to, did you increase more than the average, and then additionally, what increases are other taxing jurisdictions going to have in their budget. So, generally speaking, the hope is that if you go up consistent with the average change, if everybody goes up 21%, taxes stay the same, you wouldn't even see an increase. So it's kind of the general rule of thumb, but there's a lot of other variables in there.
Right, and budgets come out later in the year, so it's kind of you got this piece of the puzzle right now from you, but you're not really going to know. You personally do not know what the tax impact looks like.
Right.
You're just looking at the value or the values of said property. We talked about this last time, and I think it'd be great to bring back into this perspective too. Overall, it seems like, and this was I think it was the general statement from me, was it just like all houses seem to have gone up in value just in general in the last couple of years. What is causing that, and the sales being so high and everything going on there?
Sure. So I think the biggest piece of it is just lack of supply in housing. There's so many people right now that are want to buy a house, that are in a position that they feel they can buy a house, but there's just not enough houses for them to buy. And so what happens then is when you have a kind of art, and maybe not artificially, but a kind of condensed supply here, and you have this buyer pool that's so large, that just drives the prices up. So, as housing continues to be a priority, and whether it's multifamily, single family, or whatever it might be, housing gets developed, we should start to see some of that kind of level off, and I think we're seeing that a little bit. It takes time, but I'm hopeful that we'll get there eventually. But yeah, it's just the supply and demand of the whole picture.
All right, Chris. Well, if people want to, again, reach out during Open Book, which will be May 22nd through June 5th of 2024, weekdays only, 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., unless I suppose you set up an appointment to meet, whatever.
Yeah.
How can they get in contact with you again and ask any questions that they want to ask?
Sure. So you can call our office. That's probably the easiest way. If you want to set up a time to specifically talk to somebody, you can come in and do that. We're wide open. There's 5 of us here in the office. Each of us would be happy to chat with you. You can call our office, schedule a time to come in. You can just come in too. Everything's available on our part of the website. So if you go to fitchburgwi.gov and go to the assessing part of the website, it'll have all the information. You can look up your specific property information. There's a link it's called assessordata.org. And it'll have all the data on your house, your neighbor's house, any property here in the city. So,
in fact, I'm looking at this. Both interviews I did with him, I'm actually looking at that website to ask the questions today. So, I mean, he's right that the information is there, and again, the door is open now, and always open, I should say,
for sure,
to reach out to you. Any other information you want to pass along?
No, I think we covered it. If you got questions, you got concerns, come talk to us. We're a very personable group of people. We, like to chat with people, so come on in.
All right, Chris. Well, I appreciate it. I know it's complicated, but I think you broke it down pretty well for us here.
Well,
and hopefully people know how to get a hold of you again. You can check out our website at fitchburgwi.gov for the contact for the assessor's office. And again, that Open Book now is set, so they'll be there for you.
Come on in.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.